all the crazy claims the globe side makes about the sky.
So most of people here who believe in the flat Earth, they believe there is a flat Earth only, and they don't know what the routine of the moon and of the sun and everything what they happen around him. That they believe there is only flat Earth like that.
Well, we know that there's a routine that takes place in the sky, kind of like the sky's like a big clock, and everything moves in particular cycles.
Yeah.
So that we can confirm, like we all see the same thing in the sky. Right, but exactly what's going on, exactly what is the sun, how far away is it, we don't know that. Nobody knows that. But we everything goes in routines, right? It goes in particular paths in the sky. But I think it makes a lot more sense, right? Or it only makes sense on a stationary Earth, like that we see them moving across the sky. We see the sun moving across the sky. Where on the globe side, they say, from your perspective, the sun is actually stationary, and it only looks like it's moving across the sky because you're spinning away from the sun on the globe, and that's what makes it look like the sun sets. So, I mean, it's more logical, to say that the Earth is stationary and we see the sun moving across the sky.
What I want to ask also, like NASA believe in the sky like a dark matter or something like that. And I saw another idea about flat Earth. They believe there is a sea in the sky. They say we are under a sea. Okay.
Yeah,
what do you believe about the sky also, this community? Because
that's more like that's like the biblical cosmologist, stance on it, because it kind of talks about that in religious books. They'll say that that there's water above the firmament, right? And that God created the firmament to separate the waters above from the waters below and that kind of thing. And that he placed the stars, the sun and the moon within the firmament and that kind of thing. So that's all like biblical cosmology. So that's kind of like faith-based, right? It's not something that they're going to be able to prove or back up their claims with, right? They're just going to refer you to the Bible and things like that as their evidence.
Yeah.
Or there's going to be a lot of assumptions behind what their evidence would be.
So what you guys believe about the sky and the stars and everything?
Well, they're apparent lights in the sky that move in particular cycles that are useful for determining months and years and all sorts of different things. Like it's like a big clock, right? And we don't know exactly what they are, what they're made of, what distance they are, all that kind of thing, right? So that's our stance on what the sky is. We don't really know exactly what's going on, but we all observe the same thing. And the people that claim they know exactly what's going on can't back up their claims. So,
hey DJ, can I ask this gentleman one question? Is my mic working?
Yep.
Yeah.
Who are you talking to anyway?
Let me tell you something. Like for me, if you want to ask me what I believe is a flat or a ball or something like that, for me I don't care. Like I am just like I am living here like so many. I live like maybe 16 years or I don't know, and I will die. Like I don't care about that.
Well, I just wanted to ask you one question. It's not even about if you believe in God or not.
Yeah.
You keep asking. Are you listening now? You keep asking DJ, what do you believe about the sky? What do you believe? Aren't you interested in things you can actually know and prove for yourself?
I am asking him like about this community because there is like many like people live in the flat Earth and they have many idea. That's why I ask him like that. You get me?
Sorry, my only point is you keep asking about beliefs. We're in this room particularly.
Not
what we can actually know for ourselves.
What I wanna what I wanna say about belief is not about religion or something. I mean the idea they believe, the idea, the thinking about the flat Earth.
It's not an idea though. It's just an observation. It's like observation and measurement.
Yeah, imagination. The imagination about the flat Earth.
Not imagination. There is no imagination about it. It's just what you can go out into reality and see and measure. Like you don't imagine that you see a flat horizon. You don't imagine that. You see it. You go out down to the ocean, have a look out into the distance, and you see the horizon, and it's flat. That's not your imagination.
Yeah, so we all experience the Earth as a flat, stationary plane. That's the way you experience the Earth, and that's the way that everyone experiences the Earth. It's only because they taught people from a young age that it's actually not what it seems that they believe it.
Now people they don't understand because they see like floods and in the galaxy and something, and the water is like you see the disc one.
Yeah, that's the disc, the flat disc, right? That's propaganda. No flat earthers. Yeah, No flat earthers think that flat Earth is a disk
Yeah,
in the globe Earth version of space. That would be crazy, a silly claim. So that's pushed by the mainstream to try to ridicule flat Earth and to turn people away from flat Earth at first glance. When they first look into flat Earth, they see disks in space and they think these people are crazy. That's a stupid idea, you know? And it is. If we did believe that Earth was a flat disk in space, that would be ridiculous. It would be worthy of ridicule. So that's why they try to push that narrative to try to dismiss flat Earth before people even look into it.
They don't understand what's behind this idea.
Yeah, people don't understand the correct flat Earth arguments.
Yeah. They don't know the argument why this community say there is a flat Earth.
Exactly. And we don't even claim to know the shape of the Earth because flat is not a shape. Flat is the description of a surface area. So that's what we're talking about, that the large distances of water on the Earth over the surface of the water don't curve, right? And if you have an area of the surface that's not curving, it's flat by default. So that's what we're talking about when we say flat Earth. We're talking about the surface area that we can test isn't curving, so it can't be a globe.
Okay. No, thank you for this discussion, brother.
Yeah, no problem, man. No problem. If you have more questions, feel free to ask and come back anytime.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hey, can I just got a question real quick?
Yeah.
Kevin, just saying that just like I noticed, we start talking about the Earth and you guys start talking about something else. Like, why do you associate Earth with things in the sky?
Me?
Yeah, I do. Like, it's like this weird reflex people have. Oh, the Earth is this, the Earth is that. What about the moon? What about the sun? What about the stars? What about comets, meteors? Everything above our head, like people have this knee-jerk reaction to think about that instead of the Earth. Don't you think that's a little bizarre?
I think it's a reasonable thing.
Really?
Yeah, because it obviously when you say like flat Earth naturally challenges pretty much everything about that. So
Yeah, that doesn't tell me. Challenges. How does flat Earth challenge everything about there? I don't care.
Well, obviously people are told in school, like when you learn in school, the sun orbits the Earth, Earth orbits the sun. The moon orbits Earth, and then Earth orbits the sun. Stars, their suns or galaxies. It challenges all of that. Space challenges all of that. So I think the next step to hear flat Earth is to think, oh, well, what about this other stuff that we've been told? I think it's a normal response.
I know it's a normal response. That's not what I'm saying. My point is why is that a normal response? Because that actually has nothing to do with the shape of the Earth. None of those things resemble anything on Earth, right?
It's a curiosity piece for a lot of people. Obviously, when they come here, it's the first time hearing it. They immediately would go to that as the second response because it challenges it. It infers that all of that must be incorrect.
Think about it like this. Someone goes, hey, I want to know the geography of this island. And then they start talking about the ocean around it.
I'm not sure that's as comparable because the island doesn't have to challenge the ocean's existence.
What?
So the flat Earth challenges the space or everything we know about it or been told about it. It challenges
everything you believe. Okay.
Yeah,
like all that shit's belief.
Yeah, whatever vocabulary you use, it still challenges its belief or existence or whatever. I just don't think. I think it's it's no coincidence that people always ask about. They ask about NASA. They ask about space, stars, because it would be the second
so
thing.
The analogy was nothing about the ocean can tell you anything about the island, and nothing about looking in the sky can tell you anything about the Earth.
Yeah, but people are curious. They're not necessarily inquisitive.
What does that got to do with my point? I don't care about people's curiosity.
I was just telling you why most people go to that reason.
I actually know the answer to the question. The reason is there's a thing called the Copernican principle that people have adopted unwittingly, in which Earth is not unique and has no unique place in the universe and is just like everything else. So they look up because they can't see the Earth in its totality. They look up in the sky and go, I can see that thing in its totality. And because Earth is not unique and it's like everything else, if I look up, I can see what the Earth is.
Yeah, maybe. It's also a valid point.
Yeah, they've really managed to take people's focus away from the Earth and, put their heads in space. I guess because they made everyone think that we're just the tiniest little speck in this giant outer space, so why would you worry about the little speck when everything else is the main part?
I would say close to 90 to 95% of the population on an average day probably don't even think about this.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Small.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but it's fundamental to worldview though. It's paradigm based, so you don't have to think about it. It's like we know, like every night follows day. No one thinks about that, but like you've structured your whole life around that fact without thinking about it. And they structure their whole life around the idea that the Earth's a globe, and then they carry on their day without thinking about it. That's like a base foundation of their worldview.
It's also 99% of their cosmology is not on Earth. It's in outer space. And so naturally, when you destroy the foundation for outer space, they go into cognitive dissonance because like 99% of their belief is in this fantasy land, not on Earth.
And then 99% of their belief, they can't see 70% of that.
Yeah.
Does that mean that flat earthers are aliens?
What's that? What was the question?
Does that mean that the people who, believe in flat earth are aliens? I mean, their origin is space or something like that?
No. What makes you think that?
I just joined the side of what you were talking about.
Yeah, no, we don't. We don't think that there's like a outer space as we've been taught in the globe model, as in like a big giant vacuum of outer space. So yeah, I mean, we would say that the Earth is the main thing in our existence is the Earth as far as we can validate, right? And then what's going on in the sky is up for speculation.
Mm-hmm.
I notice that question of aliens comes up a lot in the server. I would say, I mean, DJ is exactly right. It doesn't come from, we know that it doesn't come from an outer space vacuum, at least this alien quote unquote phenomenon, right? Of people like going, I was abducted, or, to be fair, it's inconclusive already to begin with, but for sure, they're not coming from a place that doesn't exist.
So according to your belief that our planet Earth is the only existence in, the entire so-called world.
Not a planet, though.
Yeah, as also we're not claiming like it's a belief that it's the only existence. We're not claiming anything beyond what we're actually claiming. So don't draw assumptions and ascribe them to us.
I was just trying to.
Planet, well, yeah. So just to tell you, planet is like a category of things in the sky, right? So some of those little dots of light move different than the other dots, and we call those planets, right? So that definition doesn't fit the Earth. We just know what we observe. Well, I mean, I don't mean to be pedantic, but like it's like we're the only planet. Like the Earth is unique. I know that's like, I don't know why people would be disappointed in that, but it seems like people are disappointed in the fact that Earth is unique. Even in the modern cosmology, say Earth has to exist in some Goldilocks zone, right? And they've never observed any other quote unquote planet that's like the Earth. In that we have life, right? Nothing else appears to have life on it. Like all these things also say the Earth is unique. Cosmic microwave background radiation makes the Earth look like it's in the center. They actually call it the cosmological axis of evil. So like everything we observe indicates that the Earth is unique, but they don't like that idea. But whether the Earth is unique or not unique is a philosophical question that you can't prove one way or another.
So why do you? What do you think about people who say that the Earth is round? And why do people say that? And why are people trying to make us believe that the Earth is round? And what is their main objective about doing this?
You're one of those people.
Well, I'm just saying that.
Aren't you telling us the Earth is round? Why are you telling us?
I'm just trying to understand why I have been taught that the Earth is round from the moment I was born.
Yeah, just think about it for a second. You, like everybody else, just got taught it and just believe it. So 99.9% just believe it's a ball and propagate it like tradition.
So what is the main objective for people who are teaching us the things that the Earth is round?
Okay, so you know what a religious tradition is, right? If you go to a certain country like the Islamic country, it's their tradition to teach Islam, right? So if you're born there, you're going to grow up taught Islam. It's not a big conspiracy. It's not like everybody's lying, right? They all believe it. They teach it to their children. Their children are going to teach it to their children. This is what the globe is. It's just like a religious tradition that keeps getting taught over and over again. And it's just wrong. The problem is it's just wrong. It's not that there's a big cabal of conspirators It's just
Okay.
they made a mistake a long time ago. Well, it's more than a mistake, but I'm not going to get into that.
Mm-hmm. So I'm new to this PT. So can I mean, hear about what are your assumptions and why do you believe that the Earth is flat?
For one, we don't start with assumptions. Somebody else answer that. Go ahead.
Why do we think the Earth is flat? Because how flat it is.
Mhm.
Yeah, because of how flat it is. Go outside, see for yourself. Like,
Mhm.
right, most of the Earth is covered in water, right? And water lies flat or in horizontal. Okay, so if most of the Earth is water that's flat and horizontal, then the Earth can't be a ball. Can't be.
How do you know it's a horizontal? It looks all the same.
That's how we use it, bro. Wait, listen, like if you took like a level, if you wanted to make something flat, right, like a large building, say you're going to build like a million square meters building, what would you use for that? You'd use a level, right? And inside of a level is a bubble of liquid, right? That goes up or down, that goes up to right based upon the direction the liquid's being pulled down. Now you have to believe that on a large scale, that liquid stops doing that, and somehow the liquid starts curving. But no one's experienced that. We don't build to that. Like that's just in a concept in people's heads.
Why don't we have infinity side? Why we can't from Australia see what is going on in New York?
Oh God, someone else want to take that? Is this a serious question?
Is everything is flat? We should have
No,
infinity side.
no. You should not.
Why not?
Have you ever looked up your local weather forecast and it gave you the visibility for the day? 10 miles, 20 miles. It's like how far you can see. That's not based upon the curve of the Earth. That's based upon how clean the air is. And the idea that you're going to see through thousands of miles through air, that's crazy talk.
Yeah, let me just give you an analogy. Like the water appears to be see-through when you have little of it, but when you have a lot of it, it compounds together and you cannot see through it. That's why when you go into the ocean, you don't see to the other side of the ocean. There's also, besides just the air itself, you can only see so far because of how the optics works. Perspective causes things to converge together into a vanishing point in your eye. Things get smaller with distance. So anything at that distance, if there was no air between you and that, it would still be too small for your optics to discern, so you wouldn't be able to see anything.
That's a fair point. I should admit.
Else wants to chime in? I think C# Banshee just wants to listen into some conversations. We got Meyer that just joined us. Meyer, welcome to the forum.
Thanks, sir.
Yes. What is your thought on the Earth being a globe? Do you think it's a globe, Meyer?
Like, it can be anything. The thing is, it doesn't matter for me, actually.
Well, I mean, people in here are inquiring about how they know what they know. So the importance is how you use a logical framework for what you think the Earth is. Is it logical to think that the Earth is a globe or illogical?
Like, I think it's not flat, but I respect that people believe it is. So no problem.
Right. So you respect that people think it's flat, but you don't think so.
Yeah.
Right? All right. So in what way has the Earth been demonstrated to you that the Earth is a globe?
Like, I watched the NASA or SpaceX live streams. Even there, they use camera, so it's like it doesn't be like flat, I guess.
Oh yeah, it doesn't look that way.
Do you think these live streams are lie?
No, what I want to do is I want to challenge information. So that live stream that they've been showing you is of one that the Earth looks like it's got curvature on it, right? I mean, it makes you think that the Earth is a globe.
It doesn't seem like flat.
Right. So they're showing you images and videos, right? So now you have this idea that you think the Earth is a globe.
Mhm.
Okay. So that much we know for sure. Now, how can you know the information they're giving you is what the Earth actually is? How can you know this?
I think science doesn't lie to us.
Okay,
Even
so you
physics.
think? Okay, so let's put it in a category. You think that the people who are giving you this information are morally incorruptible. They cannot be corrupted by any means, and they're giving you true information because this information is coming from government sources. Yes.
Like not only government, but yeah, it is.
Okay, so this information cannot be corrupted in any way. This is information that's given to you that's actually true information. It cannot be corrupted.
I think it is true. Like, and I want to ask something. Do you believe in that as galaxies exist?
Yeah, well, let's just talk about this information. We'll get to that one too. I don't mind answering those questions. But I want to talk about this one specifically. So, if the information that you're receiving by the government cannot be corrupted, and that's what you're saying, this information cannot be corrupted by any means.
Even the physics, the love, it's I think showed to us it's not flat.
So first of all, let's just tackle this. Let's just tackle this one, and we'll go into physics because I think that's really important, right? Physics. Can the information absolutely not be corrupted by the government? The information that the Earth you're seeing looks like a globe. That one. Is it not possible that it can be corrupted? I need you to give me a yes or no on that.
Like, I don't think so. It can be like a lie, because all of the world, like most of even government, the physics, like believing it's not a flat.
But okay,
so
let's give a true. Yeah, go ahead, Meyer. Finish with yours.
So in my case, it's not flat.
Okay, let's give a true statement. Do governments lie?
Governments can lie. Yeah, can lie.
Okay, governments can lie. This information is coming from the government.
Wait a second. If governments hold on. If governments can lie, does that mean governments do lie?
Like about the world is about this, I think it's not lie.
Okay, no, not what you. He's asking you.
Like
Meyer, Meyer. What he's asking though, if governments can lie, do governments lie?
It depends which governments or which mission.
It doesn't, brother. It doesn't matter because governments is what we're using, which means any. So governments, right? Any. Do governments lie? Answer.
Okay, yes. Let's say yes.
Let's say, or are you saying that they do? We need confirmation, sir.
Like about if we talk about the world is flat or not, I don't think so.
No. We're not talking about that. We're not talking about that. Do governments lie?
Yes, I believe they lie.
Thank you. So if governments can lie, and it has been known that governments do lie, now we're gonna then go into the information that we're receiving from the government, which is the video images that you see from the ISS. Is it possible that this information is not true?
Okay, there's possibility like this, yeah.
Thank you. That's all. I just wanted to bring you to the. I wanted to bring you to the side at least to agree that it's possible that this information is misinformation. It's not true, and you agree it's a possibility.
Possibly, yeah. Like there's possibly you guys are lying too. For example.
Yeah, but you can say whatever you want. But upon further investigation is where we're gonna lead to. So let's go into that. So now you said physics. I do want to address that. So physics, right? So what in physics tells us that the Earth is a globe?
I think.
Yeah, I have an argument here. I can answer this one. I can answer this one.
Yeah, but you have to wait, sir. You have to wait.
Okay. All right.
You have to wait. He's very excited, isn't he?
Somebody can unmute him. Yeah, somebody can unmute him for just a moment. We just need him for just a moment. We're talking to Meyer right now. All right, so Meyer,
I don't have too much time, by the way.
I know that's why. That's why I'm trying to only talk to you right now. All right, so what in physics shows us that the Earth is a globe?
Like the science, I think I believe in the science. So the love of the universe, like the gravity, for example, in the world, I think it's shown to us. It's not a flat. To every part of the world.
Right. What in the gravitational idea gives you the notion that the Earth is a globe? Describe it to me, sir.
Yeah, 1 minute. Even the sun and moon's shadows to how it gets into the Earth, it shows us it's not flat, I guess.
Okay, go ahead and tell me what in the gravitational explanation shows that the Earth is a globe. Please describe that to me.
Like, I don't know how can I describe in English well because it's not my main language.
Do you know some words? I mean, I'll try to do the best I can to hear what you say. You know, like how does gravity prove that the Earth is a ball?
Like the west side, like no, not west. Wait, the south. Let me translate the world.
Okay.
1 minute, please.
Take your time. You know, like
the poles.
Okay.
Poles of the worlds. I think about the gravity.
Okay, the Earth is a ball. It's a ball, and it has poles because of gravity.
I believe in this. Like gravity. For example, if you put water in the world, it's gonna be flat, right? But it's not being like a flat in the space. It gets like about with gravity like a ball things. Yes, so I think everything in the space. I don't know if you guys believe in space or not, but in my case, everything like a gravity, like a love of the universe. It became like that kind of shape, I guess.
Okay, so we're just
interrupting you. I'm sorry to interrupt you. Can you see this video? Like, I just pinged you.
Ping me? You said?
Yeah, in the VC chat.
Oh,
see this video.
Yeah, is it in relation to the conversation we're having with the gentleman, or a different one?
Yeah, it's
right, can you just tell me what it's about? Because I do want to continue down a logic path with the gentleman. So, and he doesn't have too much time. So,
it says that the non-believers try to prove that Earth is flat, but mistakenly they prove that Earth is round. so funny.
Right. Yeah, it has no relation to what he's saying. So I really want to dig on the information of what he's presenting, and that's other videos, which just doesn't have any relation. All right, back to Meyer. So you said gravitation causes something for the Earth to be a globe, yes?
And the shadows of the moon.
And the shadows of the moon. Okay, so we're still going back to the fact that we don't see how you've described. You just said that the Earth has poles, and it already is a globe. But I want to know how it formed the globe. How did gravitation make the globe, the sphere? How did it do this?
If you believe in the space, for example, if galaxy stars can start to create, it's became this shape when they get a crate, like a Earth in my case.
Right. Has anybody ever witnessed this in action?
It is like, I think the love, like the physics is proving this.
Yeah,
but I don't know how to explain this here.
Well, this is the problem, right? If you can't show us what you mean, then how can you have this idea that it means what you say?
Yeah.
That's a problem.
Yeah. I'm sorry, can I talk?
No.
Okay.
You're gonna have to wait. The gentleman only has so much time left, so.
Yeah, the last question is like, how you describe the moon's shadow to do to came to the world? Moon's shadows.
Like in lunar eclipse or the moon phases? Which one?
Like the both, like making the nights and mornings, how it's like happening.
Oh, you're talking about day and night, yeah? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah, so I was describing to Igris, that's probably the same thing I'm going to tell to you, is that we noticed the sun moving across the sky from east to west on our horizon. Do you notice this, Meyer?
That is a proof of this?
Yeah, the sun moves from east to west across the sky.
Okay, keep going, sir.
Okay, so as it moves across the sky, it's daytime, because it's, we see the light of the sun. But when it moves away from us, it gets far away from our position on the earth, and then it becomes nighttime.
That is a proof of this, like a science. I want to see it on a science.
No, not size. Just it proves that the sun is in motion, lighting different parts of the earth.
Like, how can I believe this? As I believe
it's not let's put it this way. It's not a belief because it's an observation. You're observing what's going on. You see this happen. When you go outside, you see the sun rising in the east, setting in the west. This is what you see.
Okay.
Yes? So you don't believe in that. You see it.
I see, but how you can explain the moon's like apocalypse? I don't know how to.
Yeah, you're fine. It's the moon's eclipse. It's a naturally occurring phenomena that happens on a cycle. So there's something called the Sorrow cycle. You can look this up. People that have been sky gazing in ancient times were cataloging the movements of the heavenly bodies. So they were just looking up at the sky and seeing different types of phenomena that they occur, and they don't just occur; they repeat on a time frame. So they have a certain time frame when the eclipse would happen, in a certain geographic location. And so if you go to another place, these cycles repeat. They're just repeating cycles. They happen every so many years. And so the people that are looking at these things are just making a particular model of how they're going to model this out, in the sky.
Mm-hmm.
And so they just, say, okay, well, we know that the eclipse will happen a number of years from today because it always does. It repeats. It'll keep repeating. So it's just the lunar eclipses happen on repeated cycles. You don't need the Earth to be a giant ball for that to be the case.
What about the moon? Is flat?
We don't. Yeah, all we can see from the moon, from our vantage point, is the only thing we can talk about. It looks like the moon has features on its face. You agree with that? That's what the moon looks like. It's got features.
I don't know.
No, I mean you could take a really good telescope and see that the moon looks like it has features. But as far as what it is, we don't know that information. We can't tell you the element that it's made of.
So you don't believe in things that you cannot see with your eyes? For example, the background.
No, you can. You can see with your eyes, but I'm saying the thing that you cannot see is information that has not been proven. Stuff that's not proven are things that you can't empirically test, verify, and or falsify.
I want to ask him a question. Do you believe in things you can't see?
What can you say again, sir?
Do you believe in things that you can't see?
Yes. If I believe in science, so it's proving. If science
wonderful.
Proving
I'm going to give you wonderful. I'm going to give you a science experiment you can conduct. You'll have to come to my house, but in the meantime, I'll explain it to you. So, I was walking in my backyard, and I found a unicorn in my backyard, and then I put it in my garage. Do you believe? And it's invisible. Do you believe I have a unicorn?
No, I don't.
What are you talking about? It's in my garage. You can go check. If you look in my garage, you won't see it because it's invisible. That's proof that unicorns exist.
No, this is not proof anything.
Yes, that's proof unicorns.
He's showing he's showing you your logic, Meyer. He's showing you your logic. This is your logic, and
this was the question I asked. Because, for example, if you believe, if you cannot see the background of the moon, and if you see the front and you think it's a flat, you might be like wrong because you don't see.
Yeah, but we didn't say like. Listen, listen, Meyer. I told you that the moon looks like it has features. This is what I said. In any of what I said, did I ever say that the moon looks flat? Did I say that?
For example.
No. The example is what I'm telling you, not what you're saying. You're putting words in my mouth. I didn't say that the moon looks flat. You said that.
Yeah. I'll give an example.
Yeah, the example you're giving is putting us in a position we did not say. I'm telling you what it looks like. You don't have to say, well, for example, this is what you guys are. No, we're not saying that the moon looks flat. Like if it is flat, we wouldn't know that because we can't investigate it. We can only see what we see, and we can tell you what we see. That's it.
So you believe it's like a globe, like a ball?
Well, here's the thing. I could tell you what I believe, but it's not going to help us understand what it is. I can say, yeah, it looks like what you say it looks like, but as far as what we can tell what it is, Meyer, we do not know. We can't go check to see if it's the thing we say it is.
Okay, I got your point.
I have a question. Yep, I just said it in the chat. You can just check it.
Hold on. I want if the speaker can yield. Did you want to yield, Meyer, or do you want to continue?
No. I'm okay. I just listen to your opinions, like all of guys.
They're not opinions, but yeah, we'll talk about. All right, so go ahead, Void.
So I have a question though. How can you prove solar eclipse and lunar eclipse? How can you prove these two, for example?
What do you mean? What do you mean by proof? What do you mean by proof?
So in the flat earther theory, the Earth is flat.
Wait a minute. Stop. Stop.
Yeah.
Whoa. Slow down.
Stop. Just slow down.
Yep.
You're okay. Hold on. You can't say in the flat Earth theory, and you're giving. Okay, the position that you're giving right now is something that you've already. What's the flat Earth, first of all? Because I think you're going to get this completely wrong, and I don't want to have to stop you in the middle of your explanation. What is the flat Earth to you, Void?
I don't know. The only thing I know.
Okay, so when I say hold on, Void. When I say flat Earth, what is in your mind? Describe what you have in your mind when I say flat Earth. Describe it to me.
A fucking plate. A flat Earth. That's all I imagine.
A plate. Okay, so you said plate.
Yeah. You said plate. Like that. Something like that. It's not.
Wait a minute. Hold on, Void.
Yep.
Okay, first of all, dude, you need to slow down. You're not in a race here to the end. Okay, we're not doing that.
All right.
So second of all, when I asked you about what you have in your mind about what flat Earth is, you said plate. Is this true or false?
Okay, so are we fighting or are we discussing something? I feel that you're...
Void. Okay, we control the... So just pay attention, okay? What do you have in your mind what flat Earth is? Be descriptive. Tell us what you think it is. And the conversation will go a lot better.
I'm sorry. No, you just muted me. That's disrespectful.
Yeah, okay, so no, if you're going to whinge about it, that's fine.
Unmute him so he can leave.
Yep. Oh, he left. I can't unmute him.
He's going to be muted.
Well, I mean, he got upset.
That's what happens.
He whinged quickly too.
He will get unmuted because he's teacher in the server, I guess.
He's not a teacher of anything in this server.
Oh, how could he be? I mean, that's just impatience. It's not a race to the finish line. Like we're having a conversation about things. I mean,
hello.
Guess everybody's just quiet. Hey, what's up, dude? Welcome to the chat.
Jester.
Jester, what do you think the Earth is? Is it a globe? Tell us, man.
Yes, I think it is. Globe.
All right, give us some information that the Earth is a globe. Go on, tell us.
What can I say?
Words.
Yeah, asking.
Put them together to make a sentence.
Why do I think it is a globe? Is that what you're asking?
Yes. Yep, that's it.
I choose to believe that it is.
Oh, good answer. A good answer.
He's chosen to believe it. That's awesome.
What's the question?
Why have you chosen to believe it?
Oh, why? Because of science, and because I've learned science, and I've had the occasion to experience it, like on my own.
What?
Okay, so you said that you believe that the Earth is a sphere because of science.
Part of it, yeah. Part
of it, but science is in there, right?
Yes, I mean science is a huge factor in me believing that.
Okay, but science, the scientific method, that only deals with causes of phenomena, tested hypothesis and experimentation. Science doesn't deal with geometry. Geometry deals with geometry. The Earth being a shape is geometry. Science wouldn't be the tool you would use for this point of inquiry.
Maybe I should have said I've learned geometry instead of saying science. So
no, that's fine. Yeah, no, that's absolutely fine. I get that a lot of people in here, English isn't their first language, but yeah, it's not science we're going to be doing, it's geometry.
Yeah, so I did some geometry and...
Did you do?
Experience, yeah.
What did you do? Your geometry?
Oh, the basic things we've been taught teach at school,
Like what?
I don't know how we use the pronunciation. Pythagoras.
Hey guys, prove me why the Earth is flat. I don't believe Earth is flat. Prove me.
We're talking to this guy.
Why? Why is Earth flat? Tell me. Tell me.
Timing was perfect.
You guys are stupid. You guys can't think. You just kind of fucking
Are you just here
brainless.
to
And
vent? Are you an
when I
angry
ask you to
man?
prove
Is
me
that
a
what's going
flat
on?
Earth, you guys say, "Oh, prove me it's round." Or I'm not gonna prove you to globe Earth because I'm not gonna prove
Okay.
you. Prove me the Earth is flat. You.
Being as you want all the attention. Okay. Being as you want all the attention, I'll give it to you. I'll prove it to you within a minute. We're told 70% of the surface of the Earth is water. Water is observed, measured, and practically used as a horizontal reference datum. Therefore, the surface of the Earth is horizontal, not curving, so can't be a ball. There you go, less than 30 seconds.
Yeah. What? Okay. Tell me what is Earth? What is water made of? Do you even know what water is? Why does it connect to horizontalness? Okay. Okay. Let me ask you something, Jedi.
I'm gonna
If
ask
you
you
know
something
so
else
much
now, are
thing,
you?
something. Okay, Jedi, you're claiming some random,
water's horizontal.
like, unscientific claim. Okay.
Sorry.
Let me tell you. What do you know
claim
much?
of
Okay, tell me about water. What do you know
Sorry.
much about water?
This
What's
is
the
not a
what's
claim
the
of
property
science.
water?
Excuse me,
What
it's
is
not a
the
claim of science.
What is the
It's
physical?
an,
What is?
if you
what
would
is the
stop
physical
talking, I would tell
property of
you.
water? Tell me. What?
Shut the fuck up.
Shut the fuck up,
bro.
Simple as that, all right? We heard your voice. It's our podcast.
It's not scientific. I don't need to do an experiment. It's an observation and measurement of a body of water at rest when contained. All bodies of water, when at rest and contained, lay horizontal upon the surface. It's how it's observed. It's how it's measured.
How about taking a plane, being on an actual flying plane?
Okay, what about going up to 35,000 feet in a commercial aircraft? What about it?
I mean, the fact that you can, just go to places, to another one, like do long distances.
Okay, so you can fly from place to place, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you're gonna take off from the west and you're gonna land in the east.
So where is the east? What is the east, and how do I know when I've got there?
I mean, because once you land on whatever that east is for you, once you see that you actually reached your destination.
And so if I fly, say for example, from London and I fly east and I go to Moscow, okay, now I've gone from one place to another, does that mean I can only be on a sphere?
I mean, that's not enough. Actually, you need to make
I go from Moscow to Tokyo.
What you said is good. I'm not.
Okay, so we've gone from London to Moscow. Indeed, gone from London to Moscow. Now we've gone from Moscow to Tokyo. Does you have to be a sphere for me to do this?
Yeah, and then you can continue doing like a complete revolution.
Los Angeles, New York, back to London. I have gone east the entire way. What is east?
Direction.
Okay, what type of direction is it, and what is it referenced to?
Left side.
The left side.
Depending
No.
of
East, for example, is referenced to a pole. A pole is an absolute direction, and east or west are circles around poles. We've travelled around in a circle going east. Why does the Earth have to be and only a sphere?
There is an acceleration. Yes, dude. You're talking about it would have a constant angular speed, but you don't feel angular speeds. You feel tangential linear speed. So if the Earth was on the surface of a spinning ball, you're changing direction. So there is an
The angle
acceleration.
and speed makes the angular momentum very difficult to feel, and I'm willing to bet that we can detect that.
All I'm saying is there is an acceleration. But so here's
Probably very small though, from what we can feel.
Here's the elephant in the room. Want to know what also you can't feel moving? Something that's not moving.
If the Earth was shrunk, we would definitely feel the constant G forces, right?
That's a lovely. That's a lovely
still big
story.
enough. Our bodies have gotten used to it, and we don't constantly feel it.
You're wandering off into stories, dude. We're trying to do a reality. At least address something that someone's fucking said.
Well, he's saying that if the Earth was a ball and it was really big and it was in doing a certain motion, then it is conceivable that you would not feel it just as we experience. That's an if, though, so you'd have to demonstrate that it actually is in motion in order to make that claim, in order to say that that's what's happening and that's true.
I'm gonna look up if we can and cannot feel it. And the centripetal acceleration
you can
is
feel it or not.
0.006 G.
Man, this guy needs Google to tell him how to think. Past hour, and some of the most well-articulated explanations, and you just can't comprehend it. That's why I'm just like, skills are zero, bro.
So I'm googling
You seem like a nice
the
guy.
exact number.
You seem like intelligent enough to Google language, but I just don't think you comprehend the concepts.
Google, how do I wipe my ass in 32 easy steps?
Wonderful, thanks for that.
What's up, boys? Psyclone. It's good to see you.
Native. I haven't talked to him, but these guys have talked to him. Native. Right above you there, Psyclone.
Okay, nice.
How's it going, Native? Is this your first time speaking about the flat Earth?
Yeah.
How are you finding it?
Frustrating.
Frustrating, yes, it is frustrating, isn't it, when you realise your worldview is at odds with observable, demonstrable reality? It's difficult. That's a process.
We're just observing different things.
No, we're all observing the same flat, motionless Earth. But we may have different interpretations about why we're observing a flat, motionless Earth, yeah?
Yeah, I think it just feels that way because it's relative, right?
Yeah, because that's what they tell us.
Yeah. Well, I think it makes sense whether they tell us.
Well, it makes sense because they tell us that when you're like a child, and that's all that's ever told to you. You're never offered anything else, so you've never considered anything else, even though your direct experience is something else.
Well, did you come to believe the Earth is flat through the words of someone else or through your own?
No, through the Earth, from the Earth, yeah, from observing and taking time to consider very carefully the Earth in a way that I never had before.
Okay, well, take me through on your journey. What did you do to come to realize this?
Long distance observations. Long distance observations, yeah, like showing that there's no curvature as described by the globe. We should have a limited distance based on the curved surface, right?
I mean, on a pretty clear day, there's certain objects of relativity that you can use to determine that the Earth isn't flat, right? So going back, like for example, a mountain, if you can or cannot see the base of a mountain from very far away on a perfect clear sunny day,
But what if you can see the mountain from a distance where you shouldn't be able to see any of the mountain?
Right, and I mean, there's plenty of reasons why that wouldn't be the case, right? So the humidity in the air determines how far out we can see.
No, but I'm saying when it is the case, when you do see the mountain that's supposed to be hidden beneath a curve of Earth.
Yeah, well, yeah, from a certain distance, you will not see the whole mountain.
Well, but from a certain distance, you're not supposed to see any of the mountain, and you see the mountain. So that's a problem for the globe. Unless you just want to say, oh, it's all just magically bending around the curve as an optical illusion, but you would need evidence for that, and there isn't any.
No, I'm saying if you're far back enough, you'd have to be very, very far back. The Earth would be in the way.
You're not listening to what he's saying. He's telling you that the globe Earth makes a prediction about how far away things should be hidden from view because of the curvature of the Earth. He's telling you what happens when you see that mountain that should be hidden behind the curvature of the Earth.
If you do see it, then that is
That's
a
problem.
contradiction. Yeah.
It's a contradiction, exactly. So that's what we have. We have endless contradictions of what's actually being observed and detected and measured. I mean, not just observation. I mean, there's laser tests, people are doing mirror tests, all kinds of things to test line of sight. And we're getting results that contradict the globe model. So then you come to the place where it's right. Observable reality is telling me one thing, and this globe idea is claiming another. So it depends what you're interested in. Are you interested in what the Earth is saying, or are you interested in just adhering to this story that we've been told?
I'm definitely interested in hearing about the contradictions, seeing, because, if you have a direct laser pointing from a certain distance, if you calculate the curvature of the Earth as we believe it to be, then it would be obscured, and you would not.
You understand that principle. It's just testing. It's just like if you were to put a ruler along a ball, like on top of a ball, see how long you can draw that straight line. Eventually that curvature is going to deviate from that line, and to a point where you couldn't see beyond it. You would have to start seeing things being obscured behind it. So I mean, this is basically where like the meat of this whole topic is, the crux of the whole issue. Because I mean, you can talk all day about gravity, satellites, NASA, everything, but at the end of the day, it all comes back to the curvature one way or another. Because even if you think, right, well, I'm seeing the moon do this because it's a globe, I'm seeing satellites because it's a globe. If any of those arguments are to work, then the curvature that's claimed by the globe has to exist. And if it doesn't, then none of those arguments stand, because the assumption of the curvature, which you're using to say this is why we're seeing things this way, can't hold up. I mean, the curvature is the most fundamental necessity of this globe story we've been given. And that's not even there. I mean, not to mention everything else, like the motion, being in a vacuum with a gas pressure system. I mean, the curvature is just the ultimate killer. And that's the thing that you can most readily access yourself. So, I mean, a lot of people are like, oh, but why don't you trust this and do this? But the thing is, you can do it yourself. And that's what we recommend people to do. Get really familiar. And you don't have to be a mathematician or a scientist. I mean, it might seem complicated at first, but if you go onto Google and you type in curve calculator or distance to horizon calculator, or join our server and look at some of the resources that are relating to the curvature, it's pretty easy to get your head around what you should be seeing and go out and just test it where you live. I mean, chances are you've probably seen something. If you think back in your life, like if you can just think, what's the furthest distance I've ever seen? Like if you've ever been to a beach and you've seen islands off the coast, or you looked across a long lake, chances are you've made observations in your life without even realizing it, where you're seeing further than the globe model claims. So,
what does the globe model claim you can see?
Well, they claim that there's a curvature rate of about 8 inches per mile squared, shorthand.
Okay, so how far would you be able to see?
Okay, so let's say you're standing at the beach at the edge of the water and you're, let's say, 6 foot tall. So according to the globe model, there should be a horizon at about 2.5, 3 miles away that boats will be going over, right? You've heard that? Boats go over the horizon because it's a curve of Earth.
Right.
So if you're 6 foot tall, so if you go onto Google right now and you type in distance to horizon calculator, it'll pull up a bunch of calculators and you can just put in your observer height and it'll tell you how far away that geometric globe horizon should be where things start disappearing bottom up. And for a 6 foot observer, like I said, they'll say that's about 2.5, 3 miles. But when we go and test this, when you go to the beach or somewhere like a lake and you stand at 6 foot and look out, the horizon isn't at 2.5 to 3 miles away. It can be way in excess, 10, 15, 20, 30 miles.
That makes sense to me still, yeah.
Right, okay, well, that would change, if you had it's changing the radius value, though, if it's a geometric curve, the horizon, yeah? So, you know what I'm
saying is the horizon line is assuming that you're on a flat surface looking at the horizon.
No, the horizon line, remember, according to the globe, is the curve of the ball that you can no longer see beyond.
Yes, if it's completely flat. If you're at a higher vantage point, you're able to see further.
Yeah. This is why you have to take into account your observer height above the surface. And we're saying for a 6 foot observer just standing at the beach, right? So he's 6 foot above sea level. Yeah. Yep. So the horizon has to be 2.5, 3 miles away. Okay.
Exactly. Yeah. If you're just looking out into the ocean. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's say you go to the beach and you look out and you see the horizon at 15 miles away.
Well, that wouldn't be possible unless what you're seeing is an elevated horizon. You're at a lower point and you're looking at an island.
That is what's seen.
If you were standing, like your feet touching the water, looking straight out into the ocean, into the vastness of the ocean, then I would expect that to be around 3 miles away.
Yeah, and then you see it 10 miles away, 15 miles away, 20 miles away. What then?
How are you? Well, I'm confused. How would you be able to see anything that far away and be able to tell us how far you're seeing it without like a little?
Well, you would need a reference out to sea, like a boat, like looking at a boat and tracking a boat and knowing its location and distance from shore. In one example that we use, it's oil rigs, oil platforms, which are a known distance away from the surface.
I think that you need to calculate into the disposition of the oil rig. Then you'd have
no, because it's just you're just using because your observer height is 6 feet. Doesn't matter what the height of the oil rigs are. You just want to know how far away are they from you, and then check is the horizon in front of them or behind them, and then that at least gives you a reference for where that horizon is in relation to those oil rigs. So one of the examples, an example that we use quite often is one where a guy puts the camera down on the floor, so it's actually like a 1 foot observation height because he's just put the camera down basically on the ground, and he's zooming out and he's seeing a horizon at 10 miles away. At least it's actually even further than that, but you would say it's at least 10 miles. It's behind these oil rigs, and now that's a problem because the globe claims a radius of 3959 miles, right? Less than 4,000 miles. But if we're seeing a horizon at 1 foot observer height that's 10 miles away, and this horizon is a curve of a ball, Earth, that makes the horizon that makes the radius value around 250,000 miles, right? It's like 60 odd times bigger than what the globe model is actually claiming. So it's not even like it's a little bit off. Like if it was 1% off or something, you could forgive it. You could say, okay, there's just distortion or whatever, but it's huge. And
but what they're saying is you can't see the surface after 3 miles, not any objects that are like.
No, well, yeah, but this is the thing. But you can see the surface. You see the surface going all the way up to the horizon at 10 miles. So you see flat water all the way up to 10 miles.
I have the an example queued up if you want me to post it in the side chat.
Yeah. Go through one.
So, here's one with some oil platforms like Psyclone was just talking about. Can you see what I posted in the side chat?
Yeah.
Okay, so the bottom video is just a GIF that I took out of the full video.
Yep.
Okay, so this is the main. He's zooming in on the oil platforms. Now, the second oil platform is called Platform Habitat, and it's 10.1 miles away. Right, so we can confirm that we can see the horizon behind the 10.1 mile platform. It's probably quite a long way behind, but we just know it's beyond the distance marker, which is 10.1 miles. Now, this is done from an 8 foot observation height, and if we do the calculation on the globe, the horizon would be at roughly 3.5 miles. I think it's like 3.46 or something like that. Right, so we're seeing the entire oil platforms, and then we're seeing the horizon way beyond the oil platforms.
Right. Which is telling us, right, that whatever it is, the horizon is not the curvature of a 3959 mile radius ball, and that curvature that 3959 mile radius ball would necessitate is observably not there. Right, and then that's where you get to this position where you have to really think about things. And I'm not saying you should just be like, oh well, that's it then. I mean, you're of course going to have to go away and think, right, what could be explaining this? why is this curvature not becoming apparent? And what you'll find is that they'll be telling you, oh, it's an optical effect. All of this is being miraged up around the curve, but that's just a cope. No evidence for that. I mean, that's your own journey, but that's what you'll come up against. They'll tell you it's all a mirage, basically. But if you go and say, okay, what's the evidence for that? They don't have any. They just have to claim it, or they concede the globe doesn't exist.
Mm-hmm.
And there's hundreds, if not thousands, of examples of this now. Like, everyone's testing this, and we would recommend that you do as well. Like, don't take what we're saying for granted. Just, you can, once you understand the claimed curvature of the globe, you can go and start testing it wherever you live, whatever bodies of water you live next to, a coast, a lake, salt flats. Right. You can start testing this yourself, and that's a way you can know, because otherwise you're just relying on other people's thoughts for what you think about the Earth. And at the end of the day, what you think about the Earth is your personal, it's your mind, you know? You should be using your mind, not relying on others.
Sure, then I'll think about it.
Yeah, good lad. Are you on our home server, where we've got a lot of resources?
Likely not, no.
All right, someone send this guy a link to the home server. This is like a flat Earth library that we've got, because if you start trying to look it up online and researching it for yourself, you're just going to come across propaganda. They're just going to be showing you National Geographic and bullshit, basically.
Yeah, exactly. This is the question. Like, why are they putting this propaganda? Like, what is their goal after all? Like, I mean,
why are they trying to convince us that we live on a spinning ball?
Yeah, exactly. Like, I see no a revenue for this, you know.
Oh, no. You see no revenue? Well, NASA sees $80 million a day in revenue for this. So some people are seeing a good deal of revenue for it. But I don't even think that's the main reason. I think it's deeper than that.
Okay. How's that?
Well, it's control over your entire worldview. Right? They're essentially telling us that we can't trust what we experience of the world, and they know better because they can go to a place that we don't have access to, and they can see that what we experience is not reflective of reality. And if you can convince people of that, then it's open season for you to come in with any worldview story that you want to put out there. And this conditions people to essentially blindly trust you, because if they sincerely believe that you hold the answers to the secrets of the universe that they don't have access to, they'll essentially trust you on anything. Whatever you tell them, they'll believe. So it's a great deal of psychological power to control the worldview in the way that these space agencies currently do. Like, they're beyond reproach. Like, everyone says, oh, the government's full of shit, the government lies, I don't trust the government. But at the same time, they'll say NASA is the most trustworthy organization on Earth, even though it's just part of the government that you said you don't trust. So it's an incredible amount of power. And it even goes deeper than that. I mean, it gets to the very heart of the creation narrative that we've been given about the Earth itself, right? The Big Bang cosmology, all of that, the ancient Earth, all of this is tied into this globe story. If that's not true, our entire story about how we got here, what we're doing here, how long we've been here, all that's up for question. So it goes to the very heart of the human experience. It's a huge thing.
Like what I inferred from your speech is that it can actually go far to the religion itself.
Yeah, well, in terms of the creation story, because the globe is a creation story, or it has a creation story, right? Separate from the creation stories of the mainstream religions, the Abrahamic faiths. It's its own creation story, the Big Bang, evolution, right? It's got its own creation story. So yes, it's very much wrapped up in the human condition and question of where did we come from and why are we here? And the globe is almost a stage, a platform for which our entire modern society is operating from. And if that's incorrect, I mean, it's a huge thing. Like, people are operating in their lives and what they think about reality, how we got here, what the nature of this reality is, based on this story that's been given to us and that we can't actually verify, and that actually we can debunk. So it's very huge. It's very deep in terms of the psychological control and the origins of human beings and everything. That's why it's such an interesting topic, because it really covers everything: history, politics, religion, philosophy, maths, geometry, science, everything. But it's a lot. So you're lucky if you run into people like us, and this isn't like bragging, but when I first came into this and started looking, I didn't have anyone to speak to about it. I didn't know where I was looking. I didn't know what to research. But if you come across people who've looked into it for a while and can actually give you resources and speak to you about how to approach the topic, some things to think about, I'd say you're quite fortunate. So I would take advantage and ask questions. And as long as you're honest and respectful, I mean, you'll get the same here. So.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, anytime. Well, if you've got questions, comments, or you want resources, you want to investigate certain aspects of the topic, just let us know.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man.
You know, comments, or you want resources, you want to investigate certain aspects of the topic, just let us know.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, all good. Alrighty. So anyone else? Questions? Sorry, maybe I got a bit serious now. Alrighty. So anyone else? Questions? Sorry, maybe I got a bit serious now. It's a bit heavy, didn't I? It is a heavy topic, though. I mean, we kind of make light of it, and we try and keep it light and educational and entertaining, but this is like the most serious topic you can ever embark on. Like, it's dead serious. And this is the thing that shocks people, because most people think it's a joke, think it's a troll. Like most of us who are here now as flat earthers, when we first heard about it, we were like, what the hell are these guys talking about? How could you possibly think the earth is flat? Are you living in the Stone Age? How could you possibly think the earth is flat? Are you living in the Stone Age? That's what we all thought.
Okay, like what I want to ask you is, like, before you believed that the earth was a planet, of course. So like when that belief changed in you, like what have that changed in you? Like, did that change your beliefs? I don't know, like your view to the religion.
Yeah. It's a pretty profound shift. I mean, I would say I was never atheist, right? It's kind of strange now that I look back on it, because I always felt like I had a sense that something wasn't right with the world. And you kind of dismiss that and think, well, it's just we're bombarded with media, which is showing us endless horrors from every corner of the earth. Which in general, the human being is not designed to entertain, right? This is a modern phenomenon where we're taking on the traumas of the entire world every day from our smartphones or our devices. But I swear, even at an early age, just something didn't sit right, and I thought, something is off here. I could never, ever put my finger on it, but I swear, when it came to understanding flat Earth, it made me think about that, and I was like, holy shit, this is what was feeling off about the whole thing. And I mean, maybe that's a bit of retrospective thinking, I don't know, but yeah, it's a profound shift. I mean, like I said, I was never atheist, but I was never at a point where I could have saw myself making a stone cold argument for the existence of a creator and be like confident that there's no assailing it. There's no arguing it. But after this, that's what it is. I mean, you're asking before about like why do this. I mean, I would say part of the reason that this topic is such societal dynamite is because this whole argument about a creator or God or non-creator has been raging for so long, but this topic settles it. Now, that's not to say that it necessarily proves one particular religion or the other, but in my view, it certainly proves intelligent design, and there's no getting away from it. Whatever you think that designer is, however you want to think about the designer, that's up to you. That's kind of your journey. But the only hope for an accidental universe that we had was the globe heliocentric Big Bang cosmology. And the fact that that's off the table means we're just left with this flat, motionless, contained environment, which has to be intelligently designed. So yeah, basically it's like scientific proof of a creator, and that's why I would say the elites don't want you really knowing about it. That's speculation, and I'm sure a lot of people are going to lose their minds over that, but I would say that's one of the main reasons it's been done. Control, basically. They want to be seen as the highest power on earth, the nation-state governments and associated organizations. But sorry, the question was more like... Well, if you're of a religious mind, and you've noticed that the modern systems of media and education are trying to convince people that the idea of God is a joke, or the idea of a creator is a joke to be laughed at least in the Western world, that's a more prevalent phenomena. But then it shouldn't be too difficult for you to understand that the globe is there basically for that reason, basically to cloud what our actual reality is here in this experience of life. But they want it to be like, oh, it's just an accidental, meaningless experience you're having here, so you might as well just do whatever we say and just get by, survive, right? Whereas more in reality, it's almost like, well, you're in a designed video game that's designed for you to be here for whatever reason. Maybe there's rules that you should abide by, or there's a bonus at the end or a punishment depending on how you play the game. Like, it just changes the whole scenario if you go from a secular or an atheist position to then understanding flat Earth. It'll turn your head upside down. If you're already religious and you're already adhering to a scripture, I mean, all the scriptures basically talk about a flat, motionless Earth anyway, so maybe not much would change for your worldview. But if you're not coming from that perspective, it will really pull the rug out from under you, I would say. And that's why a lot of people, I think, freak out about it. So that was a bit of a ramble. Hopefully that made some sense to you.
Yeah. That's more than enough, actually.
So was that?
To sum up, is like more about religion. But even that's true, I don't think. I mean, it could actually make some sense. I mean, if you, for example, like people started to believe that Earth for like it's a flat, then like a lot of things will change because their beliefs will change. So like the whole story about planets and stuff, and like how they are telling.
Yeah. I mean, it's a big threat to the established.
The world happen and stuff. Yeah,
it's a big threat to the established power systems.
Yeah.
Sorry, go on. Get your thought out.
Yeah. So yeah, even if like the Earth is flat or not, I still think like that hasn't like a direct implication to religion. You know, like it could actually just make them wrong, so like people can start to notice, but like not a very direct, or at least like.
Well, I would say in the sense. I would say in the sense, and I mean, like I said, I'm not saying that it would necessarily confirm one particular religion or another, but just to put it in some context, all the Abrahamic faiths, as well as Hinduism, other religions back in ancient culture, they all have a flat. No, it's not. But this is what I'm saying. All of those cultures, all of those religions, all of those scriptures describe an Earth that would only conform to a flat, motionless, contained Earth. Right? They all have the same cosmology. So our human experience on this Earth, in terms of what we think of as the world, is a massive aberration, like a massive difference from every culture in human history. All of our ancestors would not recognize what we think of as the world today, right? Their thoughts on it were so different. And this is why a lot of modern people struggle to understand some of the religious zeal and fervor that maybe older cultures had. It's because they were taking for granted that they were in a created system. Like to them, they understood and accepted that they were in a flat, motionless, contained Earth. And there was no notion that that could come about by any other way other than by design. So they were all operating under this assumption of a designer. And now that doesn't mean they all acted and thought the same way, but at least when it came to the notion of a higher power, they didn't question it at all. It was as natural as breathing air to them. So when you realize in the modern age that the Earth is this flat, motionless, stationary realm, a lot of people will go and start thinking about maybe their culture. Maybe they're from an Islamic background and they take another look at the Quran and they see that the Quran is describing an Earth which is, to all intents and purposes, just described as a motionless plane with a canopy or a tent. Same with the Bible, right? They'll go and read Genesis again and they'll see that it's talking about a firmament, a container, a motionless, flat Earth. So this can cause some people to be like, holy shit, well, everything I was taught in school about the Earth is incorrect, and it turns out my Bible is more correct. So I'm going to look more into my Bible. I'm going to think more about my religion, or religion generally. So it does go to the heart of that question, but we generally don't dwell on the religious aspect of this because it can be very controversial. A lot of people can argue about it, obviously. And it's not proof, right? To say, okay, well, it says in the Bible that it's flat and motionless. That might be a proof to you if you're a Christian. But in general, that's not what we lean on. We lean on the observations, the measurements, what can be tested in reality, because that proves it, right? But then after that, it's the deeper question, and you're right. It's not about, like this topic, it's not about, even though it's about flat Earth, it's not about the surface of the Earth being flat that makes it important. It's about what that says and implies about these larger human questions that we've always had. Why are we here? Where are we? How did we get here? It speaks directly to those questions. And that's why it's such an important topic, not just because of a geometric nature of the surface. Like the shape of it doesn't really matter. It's what that implies about the creation, how it got here, and all of that. That's my thoughts anyway. I mean, I'm not going to speak for other people.
Said that very well.
Thank you. Do you understand any of that? Am I losing you guys?
Yeah, I understand what you said.
All right. There's a lot to take on, though. Like, if you just came into this, I mean, like I said, on the one hand, when I was looking at it, I didn't come into it with a lot of people guiding me on what to look at. But at the same time, I'm almost glad if I'd came into this like debating, having no clue about it, and I'm just getting destroyed by flat earthers, you could lose your mind. A lot of people freak out. It's a lot to take on. It's a lot of information. It's a lot of new information. It's a lot of things that we're not taught in school, concepts that we have to relearn or learn for the first time. So you sound like you're chill and you're coping well. So good for you. But a lot of people freak out about it.
No, like ideas, like I might be wrong on anything. So like, I listen and I analyze, and like I can choose then.
Well, good for you. That's a very mature mindset, and I would say that's the mindset you should have. Yeah, you can be wrong about anything. You can always learn something from someone else, and I'd say almost that's the biggest barrier that people have to understanding this topic, because in reality, this isn't a difficult topic to understand if you're not trying to resist it. Like actually, it's the most simple topic. One of the most simple things to understand is this topic, just the nature of water, which we experience every day, what we observe and experience every day. It's actually very simple, but if you've got a vested interest in resisting it, you're going to find ways to overcomplicate it, obfuscate it, avoid it, But if you're mature enough just to confront it head on and go where the evidence goes dispassionately, I think you'll figure it out.
Very simple to understand. Depending on your background or bias, it's very hard to accept.
Yes, that's a good way to put it. Very easy to understand, not very easy to accept.
But it's not very easy to change how say beliefs that like you were grown with for years and years. Like you've been told like this from childhood.
It's like your identity.
Exactly. It's hard for the human like in general to change the identity because like it's really what keeps you. You know, like it's simply you. You know,
and this is what they call the ego death, right? And I think it made me think of like these, not necessarily like a hero's journey, but it made me think of when you hear about, I don't know what they talk about, like the Buddha and stuff going through, where he's just like wandering through life, and then he goes on a quest of realization, and when he has these realizations, like it totally changes his being. It's something that intense, because it's stripping away from you the most fundamental assumptions you have about reality. And then you have to re-examine the whole thing and be like, holy shit, well, what is this place then? How did we get here? What are we doing here? I mean, it's very intense. So I forgive people for freaking out to some degree. I mean, we deal with it all the time. And we're kind of like hardened to it now because we've been on it for so many years. But I'm pretty sure every single one of us, when we first started getting into it, had that moment of like, holy shit. It can be unsettling for sure. But
everyone different too, Psyclone. Like for me personally, I spent about 3 weeks doing laps across my lounge room floor. I don't know how I didn't wear a path into the boards.
Yeah. Don't count on getting much sleep when you first start looking into this. If you're one of these minds that's curious naturally and wants answers. Do you know part of it for me? I feel like it was like I don't like the thought of someone fooling me, right? It's like there's almost that kind of indignance about it. It's like, well, fuck, I'm gonna figure this out then. Like I'm not gonna have this.
Yeah, but like honestly, what I think is like there are a lot of wrong things that we've been told about. It's not just like about the Earth or anything like there are really lots. So probably I don't know. Like I'm talking from my like believing like the Earth is flat or as a planet probably wouldn't make a real like a much difference in my life because I'm already religious. So yeah.
Yeah, like I said, if you already understand that you're in a created environment, maybe it won't have as much of a foundational shift for you as it will for the people who didn't understand that at the time. But it would still be a sizable shift because it means, I mean, I would say one of the great things about this topic is regardless of what you end up concluding at the end about it being a globe or flat, I guarantee you your critical thinking skills will skyrocket, right? Because it's all about looking into logic, reason, empirical evidence, science. You really get a good bullshit detector to the point where half of what you see in the media, you can just look at the headline and understand whether it's worth looking into or whether it's just more nonsense. But it's a great logical razor. It trains you to be, I would say, very good at critical thinking, which is something that the modern education systems, at least where I'm from, do not emphasize as they should. I mean, we've got globe believers who've hung about with us for years, and they'll say, like, they come here to learn about science, they come here to learn about logic and debate. And they'll say that, even though they don't necessarily agree with us about what our conclusions are about the Earth at the end of the day. Although I would say that's a bit of a cope. But they'll still readily admit, like, they come here to learn science from us, which I think is amazing. But yeah, I mean, it's to me, at the end of the day, you don't necessarily have to be seeking for some profound life shift. For me, it's as simple as I wanted to go where the truth was, right? Wherever the evidence was going to take me, whether it was to solidify my belief in the globe or whether it was something else, that's where I was going to go. As painful as that was. So then that kind of depends what kind of person you are, like how hungry you are for truth, even if it's painful. Because a lot of people will start to get near truth and they'll realize this is too painful to contend with, and they'll just avoid it. They'll put it on a shelf. And we're all guilty of doing that at certain times. But if you're the type, I mean, this is one that'll get in your brain as well. If you try and avoid it, you might put it down for a few months, but then you'll go to the beach and like just look at the horizon. You'll just start thinking about it. Like you almost can't escape it. It'll be buried in your head like a worm. But I would say if you go where the truth is dispassionately, this is where you end up. And I know the Globers will be like, oh, it's not true, I follow the truth, but I'm just saying from my perspective, that's kind of how I see it.
Yeah. I see.
Where am I going to stand to measure that? Any body of water.
Yeah, let's say you're standing on the side of a lake that's 10 miles wide.
Where can I access water on the Earth? On the surface of the lake to match the outcrop of the land.
Well, what if you can see to the other side of that 10-mile lake and you can see a guy standing there?
What's a lake? A round body of water. Oh
yeah, now, if you're looking across the lake and it's 10 miles long, is there going to be curve of that surface of the lake?
It depends on if that ground is higher or not.
Well,
All
it's 10
Lake
miles.
now.
It's 10 miles across the lake. Is there curve in 10 miles, according to the globe religion?
There are a couple of rivers that run uphill sometimes.
Not listening anymore.
Well,
It's broken. You've broken him, Psyclone.
in terms of drop over distance, like A to B, there's a drop due to curvature.
Where's it going to drop to?
Oh, around the ball.
Ball.
You're going over a ball, right?
Well, this is
over
the same
10
thing.
miles. Do you know how much curvature the globe model claims over 10 miles?
What part of the Earth you're on? That's the most biggest factor.
Is it not conforming to a 39, 59 mile radius ball?
Only in certain points.
Only at certain points. Which points is it conforming to the ball, and which points is it not conforming to the ball? What?
No, it's not a sphere. It's actually a misshapen thing. That's what they say, right?
Oh, right. So
curvature in all places.
So all those globe images that NASA have been showing us of perfect spheres in space, they're not real.
Neither is any image of anything from space.
All right, so space is fake. None of the images are real.
Claim that's not the same thing. You got to be able to keep these stupid.
Okay, so you're just saying that all the images that they've given us from space are fake.
If I send you a picture over your phone to your phone, is that the real picture?
Well, are you saying that all the images from space? Are you saying all the images from space are fake?
No, I'm saying they're reconstructions of the original.
What does that mean?
Yes.
What do you mean reconstruction?
Well, modernly, because we use lighted cameras.
So they're not taking photos.
The very first film of the Earth in its curvature was made in 1951 by the Nazis.
And so what is that? So they went to space and they saw a globe?
Yeah, they shot the first rocket that broke the atmosphere.
And did they show a globe? Like a ball?
Yeah.
Okay, but you're saying it's not like a ball. It's misshapen.
The same ball.
You're saying it's misshapen. It's not a ball.
This was before. Well, this was either right at NASA's founding or right before. So
NASA changed it into a misshapen ball.
It even existed. That's the point.
Well, no. Listen, the point is your lake is going to have curvature conforming to this ball, and now you're saying no because it's not. It's misshapen ball. It's not actually a ball. And then I said, okay, well, what about the ball images that NASA have shown us? And you said no image from space is real. Then I said, oh, you say no image of space is real? No, they are real. The Nazis showed it as a ball. What are you talking about, dude?
Really bad, faithfully interpreted.
That's exactly what you just said. Okay, everyone else, did I just misinterpret what you said, or is that exactly what you just did?
It can also not be fake either. Like I said, I can text you my picture, and that doesn't mean you have the original copy, but it can still be a real
measurements, Jeremiah.
So the 10-mile lake, curve or no curve?
It depends, right?
It depends. So some lakes are curved and some lakes are flat. Is that what you're saying?
It's going to have curve, but it depends on how much curve.
Okay, how much curve is the 10-mile lake going to have?
Depends on where on the Earth it's located.
Well, pick anyone. Pick whichever lake you like.
If it's on the North Pole, it's going to have a vastly more curvature than the Midwest of the United States.
Okay, well, just show me the lake that's been measured to have curve. Can you do that?
Yeah, you can't. It's going to match its surrounding environment, so you would have to match it.
So yeah, but the surrounding environment is that it's on a ball curving, is it not?
Yeah, but it's relative.
Okay, so just show me who's measured that curved lake then.
You would have to measure everything around it to determine that the lake.
All right, so no one's measured a curved lake.
That doesn't mean that the lake isn't curved.
Right, but no one's measured one to be curved.
No, that's because they're not observing.
All right, so we can't say that a lake is curved since that's never been measured.
We can if it has been, and we don't know.
Oh, okay. No, I know it's never been measured.
Oh, do you?
Yeah. Watch.
So we can not find a paper about curvature.
Oh yeah. Look, let's test it. So put yourself on mute for a minute and go and find a measurement of a curved lake. Then come back. Because if I'm wrong, the way you're going to prove that is by actually showing us who has measured the lake. So you trapped yourself. Okay, go for that. Find us this curved lake measurement. So you trapped yourself. Okay, go for that. Find us this curved lake measurement. In the meantime, is there anyone else?